your boy Phoenix. I'm back on YouTube now. We're going to up the game because it's what it's all about. This energy of Aquarius is wishing upon a star. So we're going to do a read. I'm going to use the Santa Morte deck and I'm going to use the Light Seers deck. And we're going to get funky with it. Before I start pulling these cards and we can get this energy, I pretty much already know what's coming out because I've done a lot of personal readings and a lot of lives over on Instagram the last 2 days about this energy going on. We're in the season of Leo, which is about self-expression, creativity, children, the inner child, all kinds of things. Hey, Brittany vibes in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's perfect timing, right? And this is what this moment is because we're dealing with the Aquarius energy, which is the star energy. And a lot of people have been getting the star in the readings. And this is about making a wish or having dreams come true. This is about really dreaming big and putting that out to the universe. But before you do all that, the Venus retrograde in Leo, of all places, is going to ask you to review a lot of things about self. What do I need to let go of in order to accomplish or become that version of self? So that Leo energy is going to be like getting in that character, like I said. You know what I mean? What is it going to take for you to get from that point to that point, from this point to that point, kind of thing? And what changes, what steps am I going to have to take realistically to get to this point? What am I going to have to incorporate into my life moving forward in order to reach my goals or my aspirations? You know what I'm talking about? So on top of all this, you know what I mean, because we got a lot going on in the heavens anyway. We're in the Lionsgate energy as we speak, and we're talking about serious energy. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the dog star, the dog. So for this reading, I'm gonna have a little help from my helpers. My collection is actually my pantheon, and I have a couple of characters. If you're not familiar with the Transformers lore, it's very much based on ancient mythology. So joining us today will be Ravage, aka Anubis, the dog star, will be joining us when I flip this camera. We can get to these cards real quick. You know what I mean? Yeah, the dog star, but we're also dealing with the feline or the feminine energy. So we have masculine and feminine present at the same time, and this is about that union and that acceptance of self on both halves. In order to move forward, they have to be in alignment. You know what I'm saying? They have to be in agreement, and where those two aspects meets, the higher and the lower, is at the heart chakra. The heart chakra. What is in your heart at this time? What is your heart's desire for yourself first, and then the collective? Because it starts with you first. So that Leo energy is like you, and the Aquarius energy is how you show up in the collective. What is it that you're adding to the collective? It could be just you taking 15 minutes out a day and just putting energy out into the cosmos or the new sphere, as they call it in the mind calendar, uh, in which we are in the white wizard year. We're in the year of the white wizard. We just started last month. Towards the end of last month, we had a day out of time, which is kind of like that space between the notes. And that was the kickoff for a lot of shit. All you gotta do is look around in the collective and see how, justice being served. These everything is coming to the surface now. You can't hide behind the mask and appearances. When I think of Leo energy, I think of a play or a movie and the characters that we play. You know what I mean? In some people's lives, you're the villain, and in other people's lives, you're a hero. You understand? And it all serves to deliver a lesson or a message to whomever is concerned at that time. So it's not about holding on to anything. It's about getting the lesson. And that's what Aquarius is here to help you with, because Aquariuses have a very keen ability to detach, to remove themselves emotionally from situations, to let things go, just as a child would. Again, Leo energy. A child has the ability to get up after crying for 5 minutes and just go about the business like nothing ever happened. It's that ability that the universe is asking you to do. So this time with this Venus energy in retrograde, it's about self-love and letting go of what does not serve you at this time. Now, one of the more profound things, because we're dealing with this 23 energy, which is the GOAT energy, which, Michael Jordan and all that, right? Go watch his Gatorade commercial. It was aired on the Super Bowl. I can't remember which Super Bowl it was aired on, but it's the one where he's shooting on the court and he's playing himself. This is the past, the present, and the future selves all in one court or arena and having a conversation. The first one to show up was his future self and his current self. Well, we'll put it like this. You look at the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, as the present. Let's just say like that, right? That's the middle point. That's when you're like right now. Then you have the Wizards, White Wizard again, the Wizards form of Michael Jordan with the wisdom of the whole journey. He's seen everything that this Michael Jordan is going to go through. They play first. And if you listen to the conversation he has with himself, that's what we need to do right now with ourselves. And then at the end of all that, his North Carolina or younger self, because we're just talking about his career, not so much just his overall life, but still that's the context of it, right? Your overall life. And getting together and having that conversation, it was like he was building himself in a way where it wasn't a detriment. It was the language that he was using. It was like him conferring wisdom from his future self to the present self and the past self, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Really powerful as commercial, if I may say so. And since you're here, Brittany, you get cards if you want. I really don't read on Instagram like that because there's so many people. But wishing upon a star, and this is why I chose today to start coming back to YouTube, because what serves you better? You know what I mean? Would it be Instagram or YouTube for me right now? And I say, I think I'm gonna go to YouTube a little bit more now to start building more of a base for myself and what I do and what I have to offer to the collective as an individual. You feel what I'm saying? So these are the energies at play right now. I'm telling you, Brent, it's when you watch it and you listen to the language, like the part where he blocks his shot, right? He said that was ugly. And then his present self was, I could have dunked it. And then his future self, like, you should have. So just that alone, have you ever sat and kind of asked yourself, if you could do it all again, what would you tell yourself? And that's exactly what he was doing in this commercial. He was telling himself in a certain way, in a way that makes sense to him, being a dog himself, right? Being a dog himself, how he builds himself up is from within. And it takes the inner child or the past, it takes the future self, the wisdom, and it takes the current wave, present self, which we're in right now, to all come together in one place and have that conversation. Who am I really? Kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying? Who am I really? You know what I mean? What am I here to do? Hermit moves. It doesn't mean you just cut off from society all the way out, inside out, right? But it's about taking that time to really hear those voices. You understand what I'm saying? And coming to some kind of agreement at the heart chakra and moving forward in that energy. You know what I mean? So shit, I already know what half of these cards are going to say. I feel them already because it's just been coming out pretty much the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera in a second. I'm going to do, we'll do the A card and then I'll do clarifiers with the Light Seers deck. Bang. Knight of Wands. Perfect. This is a different read than last night, but this is more of a insight. There's that Seven of Pentacles in reverse again. There's that Temperance card. That's what I'm talking about. That temperance, that balance of the energies. You know what I'm talking about? The Tower, things being torn down and destroyed so something new can be built. after being recalibrated. You know what I'm saying? After you get that aha kind of moment, and then the old structures fall. Chariot in reverse. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about it. Four of Wands, clarifying that Seven of Pentacles. How did I pull that out? The Emperor in reverse, talking about control issues. Two of Pentacles in reverse, and that's the part right there I'm talking about the Michael Jordan video, because it's clarifying the tower, the way that we used to see ourselves. Because if you look in this picture right here, it's like having a view and evolving from that. So this is Mike Jordan from Chicago playing the Mike Jordan from Washington Wizards kind of thing, right? Knight of Wands. I'm sorry, Britt. Knight of Wands. I'll show the card in a second. But in the reverse with the tower, it's like the old way of seeing oneself and getting into a new character, one that really fits our purpose and our goals right now. What are the steps that need to be taken, right? And then we got the Six of Pentacles in reverse with the Chariot in reverse. So that is the critique. What is not working? What is not moving? What is not reciprocal in our lives? There's a reason why certain things, such as relationships or business endeavors at this time, are not working. It's because there's something in there where there's no reciprocity, there's no give and take. It's not healthy. It's not balanced. It's not balanced. You understand what I'm saying? So after this tower falls and that old self has been critiqued, you know what I mean? And it's not about pointing no fingers, because we are the masters of our own reality. At the end of the day, we choose who we interact with. We choose the things that we indulge in and give our attention to. So this is cutting all that out. You understand what I'm saying? Cutting all that out. I'm gonna turn the cards around. I'm in the camera round. Bang, bang, bang. Welcome to the Transformers Collection of the Year. Very much about transformation and changing. That's why it's important to go back in the day. These are most favorite shit ever as a child. But little did I know how much meaning was behind all this until now. You understand what I'm saying? With our Rise of the Beast and everything like that. It's all metaphysical. It's all metaphysical. Just for an example, your boy Megatron is actually Metatron. How do you know that? Well, his homeboy, his name was Soundwave. They all rolled together. Blue, throat chakra. You remember the way he used to speak was very unique. You know what I'm saying? And he's the one who had Ravage in his chest, right? Let's see if we can put him on there. Just for an example. I know this now, and this is the time where I had the conversation with my younger self about the meaning of why, so that that younger child that loves this collection has a more of appreciation for it. And moving forward, what am I transforming into? What am I transforming into? Metatron's cube. If you ever watched the old 80s cartoon, Soundwave used to produce these cubes from his chest. You know what I'm talking about? That's Metatron's cube. Optimus Prime is your Osiris. Hot Rod is your Hiru. Alita 1 would be your Isis, you know what I'm saying? We got the Spider Woman, Black Arachnia, you know what I mean? And then we have the duality of self, and this is what it's really all about: the higher self and the lower self coming together. We have Nemesis Prime along with Optimus Prime, higher self, lower self. You know what I'm saying? The shadow and the light, both the same characters, but different. You know what I'm saying? Um, Intentions, different characteristics, you know what I mean? But one and the same. How do we bring those two together? If you go back and look on the walls of Egypt, you'll find a picture of Horus with Set's head in the back of his own. It's called the Grand Unified Field Theory, some shit like that. But that's the merging of what we call the devil and the Christ. They're both Christ energies anyway. You know what I mean? They're both the Venus. The bright morning star is Venus, and that's what both of those characters are identified as. So bang, bang, bang. This is what we're looking at. The Knight of Wands, clarified by Nine of Pentacles in reverse, the Page of Cups upright, and the Five of Wands. Very interesting spread, and I'm gonna clarify these. Eight of Wands in reverse. What is that? Three of Swords. Perfect. Two of Wands that came out recent too, and the Queen of Wands. So in this row about the things that are not moving in our lives, the Chariot in reverse. This is when, because you know the Chariot in a traditional deck is pulled by two either sphinxes. You'll see horses, especially in this deck right here, the Light Seers deck. But that's that energy of the balance. That's that light and that dark that that pulls the Chariot. That's the only way that Chariot can move is when those two energies are in alignment, right? So this is the advice if you're not already there. These things that do not give and take, that there's no equal give and take. This is you at a job that doesn't pay you. This is you in a relationship where you do all the work. It's asking you with this Queen of Wands not to invest any more energy or any of your magic anymore into these kind of situations. Bang, bang, bang. The Tower, upright, things crumbling, the old foundation of the way we used to see ourselves. And instead of and this is the two twos again. Here we go again with the twos. We're talking about that duality. And we got Temperance up there. Let's get busy, right? The Two of Wands. You've made a choice which one of those directions you want to go to. If you look at her above her head, there's that string with those five, which is change, those five lights. She's looking out towards the horizon now. She's looking towards a new world. If you look closer, you know what I mean? And there's the Chariot down there. That's when the movement takes place, you know? The wonder, the excitement of what's beyond what you thought you were or whatever. You get what I'm saying? She's chosen a direction to go in and she's looking off into the horizon or the distance. And orange is all over the place. So we're talking about your creativity. Your creativity and your imagination are going to play a big role in how you shape yourself moving forward, right? Bang, bang, bang. The Temperance card, bringing things into balance. Again, with the Emperor in the reverse. The Emperor in the reverse is a very controlling, narcissistic kind of asshole, not in his authority. And that's clarified by the Three of Swords. So this is getting over all this kind of energy of trying to control the outcome and dictate things the way you want to instead of the natural rhythm of the universe of divine timing or having things be, you know, in perfect sync and releasing all the heartbreak. This is where the forgiveness comes in. Venus retrograde, starting with yourself. You know what I'm saying? That harsh critique and learning to really embrace all those aspects of self. And this forgiveness then extends out into the world for people who you may feel have wronged you or backstabbed you as well. You know, talking about relationships, anything close to the heart, family. You know what I'm saying? And letting it go. It does not serve you at all. It takes away from you being in your authority, your authentic self. This is authority right here in the upright. You see the balance again with the AK, and then you got the scepter. This is that's the higher and lower self. You can tell by the way they're pointed. The gun is pointed down, and the scepter is pointing upwards with the cross on top, which is more of that holy crown energy, right? But both are necessary in order for you to maintain your authority. Sometimes you got to be that dog. You understand? You got to set those boundaries. Self-love is about saying no and fuck you sometimes. It's not about indulging. It's about fasting. It's about eliminating things that hinder you from being your true authentic self. I'm gonna put that back in the reverse. Um, then we got this beautiful Seven of Wands in reverse, which is about planning, prudent planning, investing. Sometimes, you know, with this season right here, it's about getting clear. It's about figuring out who you want to start to show up as or being more of your authentic self, right? You got to trust. You got to go with the flow here. You can't predict everything. You can't always, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do this week, I'm going to do this next week, because you never know how you're going to wake up the next day kind of energy. You feel me? On top of that, this is how we arrive at our foundation. our this is how we start our businesses. This is how we create a happy home. This is how we share what we have to offer to the world. This is creating that environment with a lot of passion. You know what I mean? This could be a home business. This could be a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Under one tent. And with the Eight of Wands in reverse and the Eight of Wands in reverse, this is like saying this is between you and the universe. This is between you and the universe. It's not for anybody else to know. You don't want anybody else in your manifestation pool. You don't want anybody else in your sacred space, your holy of holies, to either project energy upon what you have going on at this time. You understand what I'm saying? Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. Whatever moves, whatever I ain't gonna say plans, but whatever you have visioned coming forward, keep it to yourself. And then we'll get to the crown of the reading. I wanted to save it for last this time. Yeah, it usually goes the other way, but we're doing things different. That's the whole point. The Knight of Wands moves forward courageously. This is about taking action. This is about expanding and trying new things now, and incorporating more of elements that you're not familiar with, and exploring the world around you inside of you as well, exploring the realms of what you're capable of, going outside of your limits. You know what I mean? Nine of Pentacles. It's a funny card to be here, but I understand it, especially when you get with this Page of Cups and you get to this Five of Wands. This is the detachment part, because the Page of Cups is going up. This is all those heartfelt wishes. This almost looks like the star card in a way, because you're sending things up. You know what I'm saying? This is being the student again in the arena of love. You know what I'm saying? In matters of the heart. And of course, you're going to have opposition when it comes to the changes that you make. You might lose friends at this time. You might lose family members at this time because of the changes that you are making. The Nine of Pentacles in the reverse speaks of codependency. You know what I'm saying? Leaving that kind of dynamic behind you, where you're not relying on anybody but your own intuition and your own guidance system to move forward into all this beautiful energy, that intuition, that realigning, that temperance energy here, that alchemy. How do I turn bad situations that happened in the past into gold? You know what I mean? What is the wisdom that I've derived out of there? You see two cups again. How do I pour in? You know what I'm saying? And mix this thing up where it works in my favor. It's even a perspective or a perception of things as well. You feel what I'm saying? So this is pretty much the reading. Yeah, absolutely, Britt. Transmutating the energy that is available. So if anybody's giving you this kind of energy right here, how do you transmute that? You can't take it personal. You got to let go of it. What is the lesson? It's almost like confirmation at one point. You know what I mean? Because it's like everybody's fighting for the same thing. But some people aren't doing the work that it takes to get there. You understand what I'm saying? Some people are not balanced enough. Some people aren't, flexible enough to reach for this flame, what you call success or maybe victory. Everybody's after that, but there's people who aren't concerned about that at all, because it's all about the self right now and how you feel about yourself, and getting into the energy where your life becomes more abundant, your relationships become more enriched, and your true authentic self is on full display for the world, the collective, to see, because it's so needed right now. Your gifts, your heart, your words, your kindness, your music, your art, every one of these aspects right now is asking you to get in alignment with that energy, because the world needs a whole lot of love right now, a whole lot of love. And we have to relearn what it is that we really truly care about, outside of ourselves. But see, that process is going to attract those people anyway, because we're talking about vibration at the end of the day. All right. So, I mean, I'll probably do a cutoff sometime later if this gets a little bit bigger as far as the channel, which I am not at all, would not at all be surprised. But if anybody would like a couple of cards pulled right now, please just put it in the chat and we can do this real quick. Britt, if you want some cards, we could do this. If not, shit, I'm gonna just go enjoy the rest of the day anyway, and come up with my petition for what I want to wish upon. And okay, bro, I got you right now. I'm gonna shuffle these things up. And what I mean by that is the language. Back to that Jordan video, the way he talked to himself, the way you talk, the way you speak these things. Make sure these words are clear. Make sure these words aren't, these wishes, uh, these wishes that you're asking for are truly in alignment with what it is you wish to experience moving forward. You know what I mean? Be specific. And that's what Virgo season is going to do for us. Virgo season is going to ask us to fill in the details when we get there. Virgo is going to have us really analyze now what the steps are, what needs to be done, the details. But this is also the gut intuition, following your intuition. And how Virgo's about service. How is who I'm becoming or who I am and how I see myself, how is that of service to the collective as a whole? You know what I'm saying? This Aquarius energy. Because on the other side of that Virgo energy is going to be Pisces energy. So this is just a little heads up of getting ahead of the energy. Pisces and Virgo, very, very intuitive signs. One is in the gut and one is like up here in the crown, with that Pisces energy. But the dreams and imaginations, dreaming big with no limitations, from parents, from social groups, from society, or even the limitations you've placed on yourself. You understand what I'm saying? All right, all right, all right. Yes, limitless, boundless, all these beautiful words. So instead of having a big spill as far as your manifestation tonight or moving forward into this Lionsgate, the 8-8, you know what I mean? The 88 keys on the piano, the spaces between the note, the time you take to yourself is the most important because that's what helps shapes the future. What is it going to look like when, what I mean, if you were to run into your future self? Well, you might already be running into your future self through other people in some form or fashion. There might be a certain energy wave that you resonate with. You feel me? Uh-huh. All right, Britt, turn back around for you. We get busy with it. Been doing the 5 card spread lately just because it seems like change is the order of the day. So the first card you got out is the 8 of Pentacles, the work. You know all about the work, the investment. But this is all about the 8 again. You see what I'm saying? The bag, the investment of time and energy. All right. What else we got after that? 10 of Swords in reverse. So this is where the work is, because we want to flip this 10 upright so that the cycle can complete itself. You're at the very end of the journey. What is it mentally that I need to let go of? What is I overthinking things now? Am I not in the Knight of Wands energy, which is about the exploration? Leo energy is very playful. It's very spontaneous. It doesn't get stagnant like, still water. It's fluid like running water. Where in my life, in my thought process, you feel what I'm saying? Page. No, these are always upright. The clarifiers are upright on this deck. I don't think I shuffled. Let me shuffle this deck real quick, because those are the same cards from the reading. So forget about that. A whole lot of thinking. It's about getting out of your head. Even though Aquarius does rule the mind like that, it's about using that energy about what's working and not's been working. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the review, and that's where that should be at. You understand what I'm saying? But there comes a point where it comes overloaded. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just repetitive. Are you repeating the cycles and still not getting to the conclusion? Your intuition at this time is what's going to let you know. You let people hang themselves, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? You let situations play out. You don't give it any energy or thought. You detach. You use that Aquarian energy to detach and let everything kind of speak for itself in your life. hmm Look at that. Cut the deck. There you go. You got the star, and then you got the death in rebirth in reverse. That would be clarifying that. So I'm gonna put that out for you because that's key right now about what we're talking about. This is where the transformation needs to occur for things to start moving again. The work that you do, it's time for you to start wishing upon a star and even expanding on uh, putting it out there into the universe. Like I said, between you, me, myself, and I, and the universe, right? Me, myself, and I, and the transformation, right? And let's get the card in the middle. Give me 1 second, because half of this deck is all the way over here. How did that happen? I want to shuffle this one more time. And it's also about the healing as well, right? We know that. But more so your wishes, dreams. Yeah, right. See, I'm getting used to a new routine. I don't usually use these two decks in tandem. It's upright. This is where the change occurs for you, is in the mind. There's an old saying about mind your mind for the jewels of the soul. I don't know why that came up. That's an old phrase. I don't even remember it. I think that was Dr. York shit back in the day when I first heard that. Back in the AEO. Mind your mind for the jewels of your soul. So it's like having a way to get out of your head. And that Knight of Wands is perfect. So this is like maybe even physical activity. You know what I mean? Taking on a new routine, doing something different. Pilates, yoga, meditation, anything that subdues the ego and silences the mind. You know what I'm saying? That silences the mind so that you can hear truly what it is that your higher self, because this looks like more, when for yours is different than everybody else's, but this looks more like your communication with your higher self. So you can have this kind of clarity in between the two of you, because it seems, and I hate saying it like that because it's not really separate. You understand what I'm saying? It's not separate, but there's a conversation that really you should be having at this time with self, just like that Mike Jordan commercial. All right. And one more card, please. And if we have to clarify, we'll do that. Split. New decks, man. This shit slippery as fuck. Slippery as fuck. There it is. The Five of Swords. Again, more of what's going on in the mind. The Five of Swords. Five of Swords. Give me 1 second. I want to see something real quick. It's all in the mind. But the five talks about change. It's like changing the way you think, changing the way you think about everything, including yourself at this time. You know what I mean? It's more about dreaming big. What do you look like? What did you look like before you got here? You know what I mean? If that's even if you could even say something to that degree, right? But where were you in before you took on all these ideas and beliefs and thoughts from the outside world, the conditioning, the grooming? What is yours and what is not yours at this time? Whose thoughts are, which of these thoughts is other people's thoughts, and which of it is the authentic self? And that's why I say that Knight of Wands energy, you moving around, you getting out of your head and into the heart, Leo season, getting into the heart is where that connection begins to really speak louder. It's not that you're not hearing it, but it's like fine tuning the channel on a radio. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's that little bit of static if it's not exactly lined up to the channel. I don't see it anywhere. Man, it's hot as fuck out here. It's 107 out this bitch. Like, where they do this at? The first summer in NOLA, and they trying to dehydrate the shit out of motherfucker. But I tell you what, this is a great time for fasting and purifying. That's why I really am enjoying the heat. And it's also about conditioning. That's the cups. Where are my five of swords in this deck? I kind of wanted to give you both versions, unless I'm just missing it over and over again, which obviously I am. But that's pretty much the message. If you look in this card again, we have two figures. You know what I'm saying? This might be a past version. Sometimes that looks like blood on the ice. Some people say it's flowers. Whatever, whatever. But this is yeah, scorching is not the word. This shit, like I said on the live last night, my tan got a goddamn tan right about now. My summer skin, you would never see it. You know what I mean? I gotta take off my boxes to see what I really look like without all this excess heat and shit. It's fucking crazy. Um, but just take a look at the cards themselves, and you can see how that crow is kind of sitting, and see how it's going off into the distance. The one in the distance, you see that light rising up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of symbolism in here for you. I want you to use your discernment at this time and your own gifts, because you know you better than you about what that could possibly be. Maybe there's some kind of disconnect between those versions of yourself, or healing that connection between yourself, your past, the things that you went through and experienced, and how do you alchemize that instead of letting it rule you? How do you use that to, what I mean, add fuel to the fire and push you forward? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and those are like messages as well. You see, there's four facing one way, and then there's one kind of facing the other way, but they're all going off into the distance. It's like, and that's the shadow back there. So this is your shadow in your lighter side. How do they get along? You know what I mean? One example I used the other night and one of the reads was you got to really be honest with yourself and how you show up in the world with this Leo energy. It's like, okay, by day, you're dressed to the T, you handle your business and everything, but at night, with whoever it is, you're a freak, you pull out the leather, the whips, and all that. You know what I'm saying? The duality, you got to honor both of those energies at the heart chakra. That's where they sit down at the table and they mediate the terms of agreement. You feel what I'm saying? Just really being honest with who you are. And if there's something that you don't like about that, well, this is the time to make those changes, because you can release a whole lot now, especially with the Venus retrograde. This is what it's here for. It's to help you make that review and eliminate. And then once you get into Virgo season, the routines will become clear. The details of, even why you did it. This is the Five of Swords in the Santa Muerte deck. This also speaks to you making those changes and having opposition, because there again, we have those two figures, the light and the dark, and people coming against you, making those changes because you found that union. And I wanted to give you two cards specifically because of that. You understand what I'm saying? To drive the message home completely. It's not that you've not made the connection, but there's two different aspects of it with people that might not agree or have something to say about the union within self that you've accomplished at this time. You know what I mean? We're using that Knight of Wands energy, moving forward courageously and boldly. You know what I mean? Very fast, very passionate. Just like with your music. You know what I'm saying? And you see how that is is starting to build slowly, and your fan base is starting to become a lot more present in your videos with the comments and the likes and things of that nature. And you got to accept the good with the bad, is what it's saying, kind of energy as well, you know what I mean? And using that energy to feed the fuel for your fire anyway, and letting go of that, you know what I mean? People are going against you because obviously you're doing something right. Obviously you're triggering people who don't have the courage, kind of thing, you know what I mean, to even say it to your face, kind of. But then don't forget that you have people who really support and care for you at the same time. So it's like taking everything with a grain of salt. But the most important thing at the end of the day is how you feel about yourself and how you feel moving forward. Are you feeling excited about what's coming around the corner? Can you feel the blessings coming? You know what I mean? As if they're already here. You know what I mean? As if they're already here. Mm-hmm. It's the support from the real ones who keep me going. Absolutely, and that's the part that was at the end of the reading, of the general reading. You know what I mean? Things that are not giving to you, you don't give it any attention. You don't give it any light, because that's what it's looking for. You know what I mean? It's looking for that light so it can survive, because it doesn't have its own autonomy, its own ideas and creative sparks that you are coming up with. You know what I'm saying? From the images to the music. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You just say fuck it and put it out there, and that's what you were supposed to do. You're supposed to fall back as the fool and trust where the universe was leading you. But this is also something that was heart centered, because you absolutely love what you do. You can hear it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I got for you. Thank you, Anubis. That's the underworld right there. But at the end of the day, it's about this character right here for you. Well, let me get the other one too. I don't want to really cheat you out of that experience. It's the closest thing I have to a lion. It's the cheetah, but it's still a feminine or a cat-like energy. The feminine and the masculine, the dog and the cat. And in the middle of the dog and the cat, you have Ma'at. Seeing things from a higher view. You understand what I'm saying? You are so welcome. You know what I mean? Not a problem at all. We will be back on this thing a lot more. I'm gonna do a lot with this channel. Really, I'm not gonna just do readings. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do that I put to the back because of those, those shadows, or what you understand what I'm saying. We're all going through it. Nobody is exempt from the energy. You know what I'm saying? It's about how you show up. You know what I mean? So yeah, this has been your transformational collective reading. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? The archetypes are all they're you know what I'm saying? They're everywhere. So these are nothing but versions of self anyway. And the reason you like certain archetypes, like I've always loved the villains, because here, I'll give you a couple more jewels real quick. The insignias of the Autobots and Decepticons. The Decepticons have that purple. This is actually the crown chakra, whereas the Autobots have the root chakra. This is why they're grounded. This is why all the Autobots are usually cars. They're on the ground. And that's why most of the Decepticons are flyers, people with wings. You understand what I'm saying? So there's so much in these quote unquote child toys and fantasies that the universe is using as symbols if you just have the eye to see. So that's a good way to really get back in contact with your inner child and make sense and heal that part of yourself if it needs healing, or making some kind of peace or amend with things that have happened as far as the experiences at that time. It's all meant to bring you to this point where you become who you were always meant to be. All right. So with that being said, good peoples, I'm out of here, and oops, I'm out of here. Air Razor, where I'm at, making things balanced. And it's not like, and then watch out for the separation kind of thing, because at the end of the day, they're all transformers. They're all one race. We're just dealing with two aspects of things that see and do things from different positions based on their, you know what I mean, their qualities, kind of shit. You know what I mean? So appreciate anybody stops by. I hope y'all have a beautiful moon cycle. I hope y'all get out there and listen to the moon, write your petitions, and really, go beyond what you think you can do or who you think you are, believe you are. All right, y'all. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.